We really felt that it would be important to have an event, actually the first civil society forum of a character that looks at fundamental issues. Not only policy recommendations that we would develop among experts, but actually look at, what is going on in those societies, what is going on the screen behind the panel, what has been discussed on the panel, issues such as social justice, which tend not to be discussed in official government or governmental fora.
Here in Skopje, this is the moment of creating an energy, looking back to the terms, redefining them and reclaiming them. They were hijacked. Europe, democracy, social justice were hijacked. We want to take them back.
Civil society is ready to take on with this task and to launch discussions which are part of a broader European discussion, and to show that this region, having in mind that has strong aspirations to become part of the European family, can and will contribute to solving the major European challenges of today.
Any kind of real solidarity is not nurtured. It's something that depends on small groups and individuals that are able to move people. But the question is what to do. Maybe the classic forms of organizations are not appropriate in the given situation. And we do not see some good role models in Europe, neither, because we are mostly following what is going on all over Europe, and this is not encouraging. So the general mood is not positive. There is a lot of despair in the society.
I don't think that there is a social justice in the state that we have a worker who works in factory for a salary of 100 euros and pay the equal taxes with the owner of that factory. I don't think that this is a state of social justice when government put a restriction on the right for strike.
I'm 100% sure that change comes only from inside. Others can assist, can give good or bad examples, can be a sparring partner maybe. But if you really mean it, then change comes from inside.
The refugee crisis proved that we are not backyard, that we are not front yard, that we are some in-yard in the middle of the European Union. So this yard should be somehow arranged, and digging and putting plants and investing time and money. But we should also work on that ourselves.
The only way to stop a kind of race to the bottom of social rights and income inequality is for European countries to put in place common standards and enforce them in a common way. And that goes throughout the European Union, but it goes for the European relation with the Western Balkans as well. That if you want to avoid a situation where countries compete to have the cheapest workforce and the lowest taxes for the rich, you need to work towards having cooperation throughout Europe and some common standards.
I think we should start an adventure trying to collect, is there anything good that is going on in our societies? If we collect what is good, what is successful, what is promising, some values that we have, something that we praise, that we are proud of, if there is anything, then I think we can develop a path. We cannot have the same path as Germany or France or Italy. We should think about, is there anything specific, not just for specificity itself, but how we can move some forces in our society in a way that is possible in our societies.
this society has suffered total disaster when talking about the institutions, their independence, and the state of affairs when talking about human rights.
We cannot question the government or one party. We're questioning the system now. And the system, the problem with the system is that they created this oligarchy, this group of people capturing the state. They behave the same. All that changes is the color.
People are going to the streets when there is a rage about something which has been done by the government or somebody else. So we need rage. We need people to be angry that something is happening. And that's the thing which we don't have in majority of the cases, and that's why there is no change.
Why are we not able to engage more people in the street? Because people have seen that several social movements in the past have been used by individuals just to jump into politics, so they do the same thing as the people they were opposing. So people got very disappointed. Now people, I think, they can forgive all kinds of emotions, but one of the strongest emotions you never forget is disappointment. Disappointment is really poison.
What most people say, we need an alternative party, we need a third party that would cater to our needs and would not be part of political elites. Again, it's a problem if we see, again, example with Greece. When Syriza came to power, they still became political elites and shifted their policies towards populist beliefs that people wanted. So the question arises, should the civil society stick within the measurements of the democratic model as we have it now, or should we perhaps try to look for a different model and try to change the model that we function right now as a society?
So we need to build trust. How do we do this? We need to build a lot of models, a lot of small island of models, so that people start seeing it. And on the other hand, we should not put forward individuals. We should not market individuals as a civic society, a mistake that we often do. We should market the concept, the idea of fighting back, the idea of getting organized. If we do that, we will be successful.
This social question, this question of inequality, the question of the lack of social justice, is the one that is going to define the future of democracies. If we don't manage to reconcile social justice and democracy, democratic institutions, we will ultimately going to fail.
For 20 years, the political parties always in front of an election come to the textile and leather workers and said, we will give you the rights, we will give you a new law, we will give you the salary you need. And when they came to a power or when they sit in the chair, they forget all about the workers. And now they don't have any beliefs anymore that something will change from the politicians.
We said, okay, we are going to establish a new artistic cultural center that can bring the workers together as a platform where they can share their experience. And my artistic work was opening of that goods textile. My aesthetic gesture was in the opening, in giving opportunity for the local community to work, to meet, to share their ideas, and to get more political strength to empower each other.
Late at night, one worker, we received a call, and they said, we must go on strike, we're very afraid, we are very afraid, we're going to lose everything, we're going to go out of our jobs and don't have pay. That month, those workers are working, hours were 220. All day, whole month, without 1 day of rest. And then they received a paycheck on 2,000 dinars
in euros there, that is 40 euros, you know. And the explanation of the employer was, I don't have money, you know, if you don't like to work, go home. That was the answer of the employer to the workers, and they call us what to do. Then we gathered with our lawyer team, who is part of our organization, and they said, we're going to manage a strike. Early in the morning, 120 workers were in front of the factory in 6 o'clock in the morning. We were there, and we were encouraging them to be together, to be solidarity, and then the changes started to happen.
I believe that anybody who is somehow exposed to the public has the responsibility at this critical time to speak up.
Responsibility for what?
Responsibility
to do what?
To criticize what is going on.
But where? There are no real media.
Any kind of platform that is available to you, whether this is work, whether this is social media, whether this is going to platforms like this, whether it is also speaking out on television. I really don't like being part of debates or shows or anything like that, but I feel that in this kind of situation I have to do this because it is my responsibility to somehow try to counter the propaganda that the government has been stifling us with for the past 10 years.
We should always keep in mind that our silence is something that will continue and encourage the hatred, the nationalism, the homophobia, chauvinism, all the isms which made us hostages in this country, which is recognized as captured state.
And I don't think that art, which pretends to be timeless and universal, can be good if it is devoid of the local coloring and the social coloring of the, again, of the times in which it is created.
My father, like, I think 2 years ago, a police officer stopped him on the street just to tell him that he should keep his daughter at home, not on the streets protesting. And then, like, probably when I was arrested during the protest of the Car Revolution, and the stupid messages continued also after that, but nothing can stop me, and nothing can do me worse than this situation. So.
We really need to work hard on inventing other ways of approaching politics in the long run, but also day-to-day political organizing and mobilizing. What I've missed here, although discussions were very good, was a stronger reflection on the way economic and political institutions sort of interfere, are part of the one and the same system we are living in, and we are trying to build alternatives against.
Crucial problem in the Balkans, basically, that democracy here, even though there are some roots, has never become the only game in town.
We have democracy, and then we have Brexit on the other side. We are fighting for rule of law. We have enormous illicit flow of money all over Europe, and we are fighting for security, and we are facing of closing the boundaries.
This is the frontier. This is the frontier of democracy that has to be defended, and this is then a common European cause. This is not only Macedonian cause, this is not only Serbian cause, this is also the Austrian, German, etc. cause. And this is why the time we live in is an urgent time. There is no time to be lost.
Europe, at the mere beginning, when it was firstly founded, it has I realized that it has as a vision integrating every single part of European continent and making a sustainable environment for all, not a country, not a region, but environment for everybody that wants to live in and wants to contribute there. So in order to achieve these goals, we have to change. Europe has to change. Europe has to be rebuilt. We should not be the one that are reclaiming Europe. It is very stupid that we are asked to do certain things in order to improve ourselves when the key values that Europe stands for are the ones that should need improvement.
Populism offers simple solutions to complex problems to please majorities in a very short time frame without thinking of the mid and the long-term consequences. If they win, if they're in power, we have very important, we mentioned Austria 4th of December, then we have the Netherlands in March, then we have France, then we have Germany. I think once they are in power, there will be gun. Because it will be too visible, their failure to resolve issues. We, Europeans, will have to deal with inequality and immigration. Those are the two drivers of the fear. And we will have to be much better and more creative in packaging our messages of joy or hope against the narrative of fear. I don't think, even though I think it's going to be worse before it becomes better, it will become better eventually.
Changes have started to arise. The society and the citizens have felt the need for changes, and I think that since somebody has become aware, since most of the citizens now are aware not only about the misuse of powers that have happened in the state, but aware for their needs and how they want this country to develop in the future, it is a process that you can never reverse it back. Now you cannot say to the general people, now forget about everything, we are taking this where we started at the mere beginning. That is not possible. So that's why I believe that through our work we will contribute in building better, let's say, in improving the level of rule of law in this country at least.
This has to be a field where the EU has to prove its own functionality. There is not a single other field in the field of foreign policy where that can be done easier than it can be done in the Western Balkans. And if the EU wants to take itself seriously in the whole project, it has to include the Western Balkans and can prove that the EU is a functional community.
Looking forward to a successful follow-up where we can do more, we can of course talk more about these issues, but the most important thing is to take action so that we can start reclaiming democracy in all our countries. It is very important that we keep these forums going on and we keep working with each other in the region and in our countries, because that's the only way that we can make the system work.